Today we are gathered here to ask for blessings upon the coming event of the SCAIR program, wintertime training for all the students, clients of the SCAIR organization. We ask the Great Spirit to bless this event, keep it safe, and protect our clients from any harm. We ask the Great Spirit today to watch over all our souls in the world, that they may be safe, that they may be healed wherever they are. We ask today the gifts that you have given us. One of those, of course, is the SCAIR organization, which you've given to our community to provide services to the Native Americans of San Diego. We ask blessings upon the board of directors, the staff, and all our clients, all the students that are part of that program, that they will continue to prosper, become contributors to our society, and raise great families for the Christmas. We thank you for all the things that you do for us this day. We ask you to put special blessings upon the people in the eastern states that have been devastated by the tornadoes that have gone through that plains area, that they will be all right, that they can recover and be back whole again. We ask that you bless those that have been infirmed, that have lost loved ones. We ask that you open up your heart, your mind, and bless those that are in bad need right now from all forms of diseases. We ask you to eradicate this dreadful disease, pandemic, the coronavirus, the Delta, the Omicron disease. We thank you for all the things that you do for our people around the world. We ask blessings upon our warriors across the deep seas, that they will come back to us and be whole, and be able to be with their families during the Christmas time. We ask for travel mercies for those that are traveling, either by air, car, or railroad, that they will be safe, that when they come back to where they come from, that everything will be all right as they left it. We ask you to bless all the families that are part of the SCAIR program. We ask that you take care of those that are in need of any kind of situation today. Thank you for all that you do for us, Great Spirit. Okay, thank you.
The flute I'm playing today, normally I play my other one, my cedar one. This one is a bamboo reed flute. It was made by a man named Ortega, and I haven't talked to him in many years. I was at a powwow and I had some of my carvings on the table, and he was really surprised that one of the carvings I did was a spiral of life. It was the buffalo leg bone, but I had carved it into that spiral and rounded it out. And he said, "Oh my goodness, that's my symbol." And I said, "Nice." I said, "Good choice of symbols." And so when I went by his table, I noticed he had made flutes. And this being one of his simplest flutes, it had that symbol drawn on it. It's long since worn off, but today I decided it was a good time because that spiral of life indicates the way things travel. And the planets are aligning again as we speak. And that doesn't happen often, but it is happening right now. Planets are aligning and the asteroids are flying around. Came in on an asteroid star flying by the planet when I was born in 1960. So this flute is for everybody.
Hello everybody and welcome to Winter Solstice, Sun, Moon, and Stars. My name is Julie DeFilippi and I'm a lute, a nangan, and I have been with SCAIR for 6 years and I'm a Tupi Youth Coordinator.
Hello, Meha. I'm Stephen Garcia. My name is the Black Star-Eyed Eagle, and I am Tongva from Los Angeles, Mescalero Apache and Yaqui from Sonora, and from my mom's side, I'm Swedish, Italian, Russian, and Austrian. So, thank you. Welcome.
Hi everyone, my name is Kathy Wilcutt. I am Lakota. I'm born on the Cheyenne River Reservation in South Dakota. My father is from the Rosebud Reservation as well. I am the cultural educator here at SCAIR for the Tupi cultural, well, I gotta start all over.
Okay.
Go for it.
Okay.
Red leather, yellow leather.
Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Kathy Wilcutt. I'm Lakota. I am from the Cheyenne River Reservation in South Dakota. I am Minnekoju. My father is from Rosebud Reservation. He is Shikaju Lakota. And we're here today to do our winter solstice sun, moon, and stars training with our SCAIR participants and families. We will start today with a meditation. So Stephen and Julie are here and they're going to be participating. And if you're at home, go ahead and find a comfortable place, a quiet place. You can turn down your lights. You can grab a cup of hot tea, light a candle, just anything to bring in that peaceful, relaxing mood to your meditation. So first of all, we start with a grounding meditation. So how we ground is we put our feet on the floor flat and sit up as much as you can with your spine straight, and then put your hands in your lap, cupped as you're receiving. So this is a sign for receiving. When we pray, we are asking, and when we are meditating, we are receiving. So go ahead and move your body to where it feels comfortable and get ready to meditate. Close your eyes. And I would like you first to start off with four big breaths. So you're going to breathe in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. So go ahead and let's do that together. So continue to take deep breaths until you feel centered, balanced, and relaxed. These are called cleansing breaths. And what we're doing is we're bringing in the good energy, good feeling energy, and we're releasing any stress, anxiety, anything that is unbeneficial to our bodies. We are releasing that with our breath. I would like you now to visualize a white waterfall of light coming from the top of your head, going through your body. So visualize like a waterfall, stepping into it, and it's all light, just flowing down, going through your bones, your muscles, your tendons, your organs, every cell in your body. So visualize that white waterfall of light starting at the top of your head, down your shoulders, through your spine, down into all your muscles, tendons, organs, cells, everything inside of your body. Also going through your feelings, your emotions, your spiritual body, all your bodies. we have so many bodies inside of us. We have our physical body, our spiritual body, our emotional body, our mental body. There's so many bodies to cleanse. So let's go ahead and do that now. And visualize anything that is unbeneficial leaving your body like black smoke. Kind of like when you burn sage and the sage smoke comes up. Visualize all that unbeneficial energy going into that smudge pot, clearing out all that negative energy. And you don't have to know what that negative energy is, you're just releasing it for good. Now I would like for you to see a beautiful pink cloud of light or mist. I like to see a mist that's cooling and it feels a little soft, and you can feel it on your body, around you. And this is unconditional love. So just see that all around you. And now I'd like you to see roots going from the bottom of your feet deep into the earth, going all the way to the core of Mother Earth, Grandmother Earth, connecting you, grounding you, centering you, and balancing you. And you could even feel the energy of Mother Earth coming up from those roots back up into your body, going through every part of your body, feeling the love of Mother Earth. And I would also like you to feel the sun rays above your head, feeling the sunlight also coming through your body, and connecting with Mother Earth in your heart center. And feel that love from Father Sun and Mother Earth in your heart, and feel a beautiful sense, a beautiful starlight coming out, bursting out from your heart. And that's the good, positive, loving energy that you're feeling. Take another deep breath. Now I would like you to, in your meditation, I want you to see a path in front of you. And I want you to see yourself barefoot, walking on this path. And in your meditation, you may see a dirt path. You may see a path going to the mountains, or a path to the desert, or a path right to the ocean. So you can choose the path you like, or you may even see another path. And if that feels good, take that path. And for myself, I will visualize the path going into the mountains where the pine trees are, and you can smell the pine. You can see all the snow on the pine trees, and you can feel it under your feet as you're stepping on it. You feel the coldness from the snow. You can hear the crunching from the snow, and you can hear the wind blowing through the trees. And you just can feel the forest all around you. And just walk into the forest. And in the middle of the forest, you'll find a fire. And it's a fire pit. You can go ahead and sit by it, warm yourself up, put your hands over the fire. And you can see beside you there's some tobacco, some sage, some sweetgrass, some cedar. And at this time you can say your prayer, say your offering, give your offering to the fire for yourself, for your ancestors, for your family, for your community, for this time of year, for Mother Earth, for all of Creator's creations. Once you're finished with that, you can go ahead and walk again away from this fire, walking back through the forest, seeing the beautiful trees with the snow, feeling the snow under your feet, and walking, seeing all the animals of the forest, the deer, the chipmunks, the squirrels, all the little animals, the rabbits, and go ahead and come back into the circle, into your chair where you're sitting, coming back into your body, feeling gratitude, feeling balanced, feeling relaxed, feeling centered, and most of all, feeling connection. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and move your fingers, move your toes, stretch your arms, and when you're ready, you could go ahead and open your eyes. So a lot of times when we do a meditation here at SCAIR, we share our meditation experience. So someone is welcome to share, or if they prefer not to, that is fine as well. So I'm going to go ahead and ask Julie if you'd like to share today.
Since this one was more of a shorter one, because I'm used to your longer meditations and
Yes.
stuff like that, which really sends me that deep, but just because we're talking about the winter solstice, and I've been kind of like looking and guidance from a lot of people on the web and through, about my tribe being a Nangan, I just thought about, because we were ocean people, our tribe is ocean people, so I chose the path on the beach with the sand.
Okay.
And I felt that it just came naturally to me in that moment, and that came natural to me. And then I just thought about the phone calls I used to talk to my grandmother before she passed, my mom's mom, and I only got to talk to her once a year, and it was Christmas time around. And so I heard her saying, Juju, and because that's my little nickname, my dad would call me, but I just remember the conversations we used to have, and it's really cool. It's just that connection, family, and it's something I'm really striving to find more and more about as we speak, and it just makes me feel really good. And it's just I just felt that crispness in the air, that crispness, and just that love. It was nice.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Christina?
Yeah, as Julie said, it was short, but it was sweet. You started talking about taking whichever path you wanted to, and strange because usually I would pick the ocean, and all of a sudden I found myself standing on this hill in Hawaii. When I was a young kid, I used to go hike up in the hills, and I was sitting in the chair, but I stood up and I was like, wow, look how green the grass is, and it was this puffy grass, and I looked down the valley. At first it was just the edge, and I looked over and I said, oh, there's the path. So I started to walk down this just little grassy hill down the valley, and the mangroves, and it got thick because the valley's in Hawaii. But I could see the ocean, the turquoise water from the top of that hill. And I said, oh, I'm just going to go down to this valley and see what I can find. And I saw the little smoke, puffy clouds, and then you said, there's a fire, and I went, oh, there it is, over there. So I started walking to it. I was like, wow. It's like, wait a minute, did I see the smoke before she even said fire? And so I went over to it, and then you were talking about the cedar and the sage and the sweetgrass and such. And I was like, oh, wow, look at all this stuff sitting here. And I go, wait, I'm in Hawaii. Where'd this stuff come from? And I'm all, cool, somebody put it here for me. So I started, smudging with it and everything and putting up the smoke. And I said, well, protect the aina, help the islands because they need it right now, especially with how much is going on over there. And I was like, wow, this is cool. I said, I get to come back for a minute, you know. And I remembered, hey, I'm in a meditation, so don't stay in the valley. And then when you said, okay, time to walk back, for some reason I didn't want to go back up the same path that I came down on. I said, no, I'm going to make it a loop. So I found another little spot of grass and such, but I was actually using the rocks to pull up because I didn't want to step on the grass. It was so pretty. And so I'm stepping off the little rocks, and then I said, okay, I'm sorry, I got to walk on you. So I'm actually talking to the grass. So I started walking on the puffy grass as light as I could. And I went over and I sat down in my chair, and I was just rubbing my toes in the grass. And you were talking about coming back, and I was like, oh, wow. I was like, I'm still sitting here on the grass. And when I opened my eyes, I actually had to look to make sure I was back. And I was like, wow, that was vivid. So I'm not used to it being that vivid. And I was like, okay. And you like smell the pine, and there's pine trees in Hawaii, believe it or not, big Norfolk pines. I used to go out there and sit under those and pick up the little cones and smell them. And I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. And I know it's short, but wow, thank you.
Nice.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Aloha.
For myself, the meditation that came, a lot of times when I do meditations, I allow Creator to guide me. So what I see is what I'm seeing, you know, the pictures that are coming in. So it was really nice. I felt like I was in South Dakota, like the Black Hills, and, you know, feeling the wind and hearing the wind and smelling the trees was so healing to me. You know, we're sitting here in an office in a resource center, but yet I could smell it, and it was so beautiful. And I can feel that wind, and I can feel that coldness. And even walking on the snow, it was cold, but it felt good. And just feeling like my bare feet just going into it was so healing as well. And it was funny because, as I was saying, I was seeing the path as it was being created, and then, you know, all of a sudden there was a fire, and I'm like, oh, fire. So like a lot of times that's what happens in the meditations, is things will start, you know, forming as we're going on this journey. And it was really beautiful. So I was thankful that that came into our meditation. For myself, it was just feeling that connection to our ancestral lands and the earth, and, you know, my tribe back home, just really feeling that connection as well, and feeling the connection, you know, with everything, not just, you know, our human brothers and sisters, but also with the elements, you know, with the fire, the wind, the snow, the trees. You know, we're all a family. We're all alive. We're all connected. So, you know, that was really a nice treat for myself. So, I would like to now go into our winter solstice teachings, our cultural teachings. And I would like to start with you first, Julie, if you like.
Okay. So I know I've probably mentioned this in the past, that I am still learning about my tribe, and I recently found out, because I'm always telling people I'm Aleut, which I am Aleut from Alaska, my mom's side, but I found out that I'm a Nangan. My tribe is a Nangan, which is really cool because I didn't know. I thought Aleut was my tribe, and I'm still trying to figure out to differentiate everything. But I know that we don't. I know that there's ceremonies held. I'm finding little bits at a time on this time of year for what our tribe would do. When the Russians came over, you know, we settled in, and a lot of our traditions went away, and so we're left here trying to figure out. You know, I would like to figure out and find anything I can find on my tribe. I know for celebrations around Christmas, they had this big star that they would decorate, and I believe it's spun, and the towns, you know, the people in the towns would come together and they would sing, and of course there was lots of food, and they'd share stories, and I know that I've heard that they would pass out like bags of fruit and nuts and candy to the kids and the adults, and then they would go and share their bags with everybody else, and they could switch out stuff, which was kind of exciting for them. So if they had stuff in their bag that they didn't care for, maybe somebody else liked it, so they'd take that time to exchange things like that. So that's pretty neat. And so I know for me and Christmas, growing up, I just knew my dad's side, which is my Italian side, and that was huge and dominant through my years. But I'm trying to really focus on my mom's side, not giving anything up on my dad's side, of course, but I just really want my focus to be on Anangan. And for my kids, because I have two beautiful daughters, that I want to teach them as much as I can before, my time is done. But I still try to instill our smoked salmon, because that was huge. My grandmother would send us some every year around Christmas time in these jars, and the smell was just amazing, and the taste was just unforgettable. And so I do still have that every year, and I try to have I do like our nuts, like the mixed nuts with the shells, you cracking them and just sitting down, and we just all sit together and play games and just have fun. So I try to instill just family time, food, and just focusing on us. Making cookies, still we do that, Christmas cookies, just to have fun, and we'll pass them out to friends and family. And so we've been doing that. But I would really like to, I know we have basket weaving, and a lot of this time is winter, and I know I'm probably not the only tribe that goes in for winter, because you do your regalia, you can do your arts and crafts. If you're an artist, you can focus on all that time to make stuff, so you can start selling it later on to make that money to keep us going, and supplies that we would need. So that's what I'm learning so far on this time with our tribe.
Thank you,
It's
Julie.
really interesting.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Stephen?
Oh boy, okay. The Tongva, because I wasn't really raised with my nana was taken from Sonora when she was younger, or her family, and raised in Los Angeles. So with the Tongva people, and being on the mission St. Gabriel, Tata side, the way they would do this is, I believe a lot of ceremonies were formed because during the winter time a lot of people do come in, and people always say people get depressed, or it's cold outside, but I think the ceremonies is such to lift the spirits, but we never really got too upset about the weather, because the weather's the weather and she does what she does. But we come into ourselves, that introspect, and that's at the time, as Julie was saying, you come together and you do your crafts, you do your stories, why these crafts are made, what they're about, the materials that you're even using, how you gathered them, keeping your thoughts present while you're gathering these materials, whether they be animal or mineral, and the trees, the shells, the hides, whatever we're using, feathers, all these things are brought together in a spiritual way. And this is thousands of years of thought, process, and technology. And as we say, a lot of us were like, well, those ways were lost. They weren't lost, they were stolen and put away, or put down so hard by the colonization, weren't allowed to practice those. Not even up until 1978, we weren't really allowed to use our feathers or do our ceremonies, but by law we are now. And these things, I tell people, because they said, oh, we don't know how to do the ceremonies. I said, how were the first ceremonies brought about? And so the same thing with my people. You would go out by yourself. As we did these meditations, you notice we all had different visions of things. And so you learn your ceremonies by sitting by yourself, and that thought comes in, those ways of how to set up your little altar, or how to go about doing certain ceremonies. And I tell people it's not lost, it's inside, it's waiting for you. And so, yeah, we would gather for the solstice, which right now the planets are lining up. There are so many planets lining up. This is why I'm wearing all my circular pieces, including the abalone that we'll be working with. That represents the Earth, you know, and has those colors if you look at it from space and you say, oh wow, it looks like this shell. We're all connected in this way. We're all a part of everything in this way. And so even with the cold, you know, we get cold, we get warm, we get hot. And I always believe that this helps us. When you get cold, you get memories of the cold when you were a little kid. When you get hot, you get memories of the heat when you were a child. And the earth and the trees and everything holds these memories too, like a movie camera. You know, a certain time of the year, a certain time of the day, certain temperature of your body, and your memory sparks. And so it's really cool that the solstice, and they chose their holidays too as well, because everybody at this time is celebrating the renewal and the changing of the seasons. And people always say, oh, in California we don't get season change. It's 52 degrees outside right now. We get seasonal change because usually it's in the 70s and 80s. But as I always say, wait a week, San Diego, you change your weather, you'll get 80 degrees again soon. And yeah, I love this time of year because we come in, we share stories, we share food. Food is the biggest part of a lot of cultural activities and celebrations and ceremonies. And we pray to our food before we gather it. We pray to our food when we gather it, before we partake of it, when we share it, as you were saying. And it's a big part. This morning was beautiful because I woke up, I said, oh, we have our filming that we're supposed to do today to share with the people. And normally I get up and cook some eggs and maybe some bacon and toast and such like that. And today Kat said, I'm heating up the sweet potatoes, and she brought in with some chia pudding and nuts, and a friend of ours that she made trades with, like in the days of old, they made a trade. And she brought in that chia pudding and the blackberries and the walnuts and that sweet potato, and I was like, wow, I've never had this like this before. I said, the planets are aligning, and I said, this was, to me, that was the best way to start out the day. It was a feast, and thank you again. And so that's why I have all this energy. It's real earth food. And Mother Earth, she takes care of us. And that's what mothers do, they nurture. And so thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
So,
What I'd like to share about winter solstice and this time of year is when I was younger, my family would go to Cheyenne River where I was born. And you know, a long time ago, Christianity was really pushed on our tribe. So we didn't have a lot of our ceremonies. But what I did notice as a child, I mean, as far as Christmas would come in, and that's what we would celebrate at this time. And a lot of the celebrations were held at a church. So there was a church in Greengrass, and they had a Christmas tree. And the one thing that I always noticed about the Christmas tree was they always had tobacco pouches for the men on the tree. They were hanging on the tree. And I don't know if anyone remembers tobacco would come in a little like cotton beige
Folder.
bag.
Yeah.
And so that's what was hanging all over the tree. And I'd ask, you know, my family, like, why are those there? They said, oh, the men like to smoke tobacco. And I'm like, okay. So later I find out, you know, about the Sundance and how we hang tobacco prayer ties on our tree, you know, for offerings. And I thought, wow, I felt like we were secretly still doing our ceremonies on the Christmas tree. So, you know, I was really happy to see that still occurred, because like Stephen said, we weren't allowed to practice our religion or spirituality till 1978. So, you know, I was a child in the 70s, so to think about it back then, you know, maybe someone could have got arrested, or, you know, who knows what would have happened if they knew that's exactly what they were doing. So I'm very happy for our ancestors and our elders who still continue to hide our ceremonies in plain sight and practice them, because they really were a part of my bringing up. You know, I remember my grandmother drying deer meat, you know, and hanging it, drying it, pounding it, making our ceremonial foods, which is called wasna, you know, and I'm very grateful that I was able to see that and practice it and participate in it. And I feel like, you know, we don't have to lose those don't have to be memories. Like, you could bring those back into your everyday life, in your modern day, you know. And another story I'd like to share is when my mom, she'd go to California in the wintertime with my father. She had a house in South Dakota as well. So my grandmother would receive a deer or deer meat in the winter, and I guess when we were gone, she would hang it up inside of our house. And she would tell people, like, don't tell, you know, my mom that she's drying meat in our house. So I thought that was the cutest story too. So, you know, like, you know, she wasn't, you know, where her tribe is originally from, she wasn't doing it outside, she was doing it inside of a house. So, you know, that's really the lesson, is like, you can practice your culture and your tribe anywhere. I mean, I'm Lakota and I live in Southern California, and I practice my culture and spirituality. And I also honor Stephen's tribe, the Tongva, because our daughters are half Tongva, half Lakota, so I try to do a little of both. So the ocean is very important and spiritual to us, you know, a way of life of the Tongva. Their ceremonies are also a big part of our life as well. And also living here in Kumeyaay territory, listening to the bird singers and the songs, they're so healing to me. And I'm so grateful to live in this territory and have friendships and people that are like family to us, and we can enjoy them. And sitting here with Julie, you know, Julie being from Alaska, like learning about her tribe and what they love. You know, we really do practice community in this way, is by sharing with one another.
Intertribal.
Yeah, intertribal. So I hope that we gave you ideas as far as winter time. Like, what do you do in the winter time when it's cold or raining outside? For myself personally, I like to make herbal medicines because I'm an herbalist. So at this time, I'll make fire cider, which it helps you not get a cold or flu. And it's you put vegetables in vinegar, and there's many recipes online that you can find for that. Elderberry syrup is something that I also make at this time. I'll make salves for cuts and muscle pain, tinctures. I love to bake, baking Christmas cookies with my daughters as well.
That's the real medicine.
That's fun. We also do tamales. We make tamales on Christmas Eve. That's a Tongva tradition.
Yeah.
So we do that. So food is big for us, and you know, we do a lot of trade at this time too, because I do make jewelry. So I like to ask people if they like to trade, and as Stephen was saying, we just did a food trade. We received food, and the person who made the food for us received jewelry. So think about that in the future when you want to make gifts. For myself, I don't like to go into busy malls, or I don't like to go shop when there's no parking. Shopping is stressful. Like, I really like to spend this month at home doing things for my family, for my friends, for my loved ones, versus being outside, because our traditional ways is going inside, is the introspection. giving yourself a rest. You know, we go, go, go constantly. So I really want you to take this time to just be present with your family, be present with your children. You know, time and energy is a gift. You know, we sometimes don't think about that our time with our family is a gift to them. And you not thinking about the next day or what you have to do, but really just being there with a child is the best gift you could give. You know, or an elder, or your loved ones, and yourself, being there for yourself. Like, take that time to enjoy a hot cup of tea or a bowl of soup. Like, this is a time to nurture yourself too. So I would like to say thank you for our winter solstice training here, and we're gonna go ahead and go on to the next portion, which is making our abalone shell necklaces. So, thank you. Welcome back. We're here now for our art portion of the training, and this is the Winter Solstice Sun, Moon, and Stars Abalone Shell Necklace activity. Here we have Stephen ready to go. Julie's been working on her necklace. She's a little farther along, and she's doing a beautiful job. I'd like to let you know that we're sending a packet home with you to show you how to do this and a little information about abalone shells. So we're going to go ahead and turn it over to Stephen. He's going to show you how to string the abalone shell.
All right. It's really basic, really simple. That's why we're doing it that way. The thing about this is, in the older days we would use different types of twine, cordage, tree bark, anywhere from dog bane to the types of raffia, and we'd twist it and make the cordage. But we'll be sending you already twisted cordage. It's really simple. You can just pinch it like this, and then when you see your abalone shell, follow the holes back here. There's holes. I noticed on mine that one of the hole that I was going to use, and it's different because this one only has one hole on it. Most of them have a few holes, but this one I noticed, and it was still kind of a little sealed. So I took a needle and pushed it through there, and just kind of made that hole a little bit bigger so I could get through it. And this is what we're going to do here. Try and tighten that up a little bit more. If you have to, you do it the other way, but I'm pretty sure I can get it through there this way. Pinch it, and then I might actually have to use this needle to push it through a little bit. Looks easier than it is. With a tighter cord, it should be able to work. Sometimes it just wants to be a little bonehead. Let me try with this side. See, these two strings like this. Maybe if I shoot the tips and go through one at a time. One at a time. There we go. And if I get one through, then I can bring the other one right beside it, kind of hold it like that and get it through there too.
Nice.
Yeah, there we go. That's why I have these thumbnails, so I can pull on things like that. And if you have to, get like a little stick or a little awl or something that'll help you push it through. There we go. All right, now, see that loop part? You're gonna make sure your cord's about the same length on both sides, which means sometimes you'll have to pull it and line them up like that. Just kind of like shake it a little bit so it'll line up. Just gonna pull it through. Little cat's cradle there. So then pull that through. That. And depending on how you want it to hang, if you bring it over to the side, it's going to hang more sideways like that. If you want it to hang a little bit more like that, you can. You can even bring it around like this, and it'll hang like that. And so with this, as we were saying, You can elaborate on it with your own beads. You can go collect some beads. With this one right here, I noticed there was a couple seashells. So I think I'll just run this through. And depending on where I want them to sit, I'll run it through like that, and then loop it through again one more time. I mean, you can do it with tie it off, maybe a couple beads, and then just string it through that way. But because I want it to actually sit in a certain place, basically like a little knot, like that, and then it'll sit there right in line. And so now I want to look at the other one, kind of line it right up alongside that one. So I measure it up to, where's that one right there? And it doesn't have to be right beside it, it could be asymmetrical, it could be off. And because as we say in our world, nothing's perfect. My mom got pretty close, but hey.
That's really cool how you did that. Wrapped it around it to keep it in place.
Yeah.
I thought you'd have to do knots or something to make it not slipping, but that's a better
Yeah,
way.
just a little loop. There we go. So,
Nice.
what I really like about the abalone shells, they represent that earth. When you look at it, especially the small ones, it looks like the earth. And as we said, it's not only a source of food, sustenance, because abalone steaks, which are kind of hard to get now, I'm pretty sure you can still get them maybe down in Mexico, or if you really look around, somebody will be selling them. But that meat is so thick and it's really good for you. It's got so many nutrients in it. But this piece right here, it's a source of protection in the sense that when we used it, it was like a mirror. Nobody could think bad thoughts or speak bad thoughts about you because it reflected away from you. And I love it because it just holds all the colors in the rainbow. No matter what you're wearing, abalone shell will bring out more of those colors. And so
Very
you can
nice.
add all the beads you want to your necklace. Thank you.
I wanted now to go to Julie to show you her necklace. She's been working on it and it's so beautiful. Do you want to share how you did yours?
So I like to bead too at home, and I know a lot of people like to bead because it's really nice and it's like therapeutic. But I have a lot of beads at home, and then there was some shells with some holes in it. So I just kind of like laid things out in front of me on the table and kind of did a visual in my head of how I would like maybe to see them strung or whatever steps I want to do it in. So far, and I like the turquoise. I don't know what it is about that blue. Maybe it's just the water because we're the ocean, and I just love the ocean. It's just so calming, and it's one of my favorite colors. And then we've got the turtle, which I love. So it's all just a matter just the ocean. I just love shells. I've always loved shells. I pick them up every time I go to the beach. I got jars around my whole house of times I went to the beach. At this day, in a jar full of shells here, and sand over here, sticks over there. So, but yes. So then I got these little bone beads, the bone right here too, incorporated onto that. But
Beautiful.
yeah, and I love abalone. It's very pretty, and I didn't know it had protection and all this stuff that it has the good qualities with it. And I didn't know. I'm learning too, learning all this, and so this is really fun. I'm not done yet, and I can't wait to see how it's going to end. But then we've done this before in another class that we've had our necklaces that we've done this before. So. And like you have Stephen and Kathy have these beautiful pieces of abalone on, and so I like the colors, the yellows, the reds, the greens. Those are my favorite colors, and they make me feel happy.
Yeah.
So it's just there's many ways you can do it. There's no wrong way to do it. Whatever you have lying around, if you're artists or beaters, or I know you're out there. You got them. You got it. Add it to your necklace. Like we said, we just gave you the shell and the the cord.
Yeah.
The cordage, yes. And so it's very basic, but we wanted this to be, we didn't want to overwhelm you. It's just something really pretty and simple, and you can always add to it. And we hope you guys have a lot of fun with this activity. We really do.
And to finish, I also wanted to show you the altar that we created for this class, our training for our participants. And you know, when you're home and you're thinking about winter solstice and how, you know, you could honor the creator, the earth, the winter time, you know, you can just let your imagination flow, find natural elements. We have sage here, so just a focal point that you could look at in the winter time. You can add a candle, you could add a little bowl of water, you can add flowers, you know, just anything that makes you feel good, bringing nature inside. And I also wanted to point out that, you know, abalone is part of the ocean, and, you know, a lot of times people wonder, like, well, did my tribe use it or not? You know, well, anything that comes from nature, you know, you're allowed to use it, you know, as long as it's not endangered or going extinct. I think it's fine to just, you know, find what's outside, what's near your home, what's in your community, what's in your mountains, or, you know, close to the ocean or lakes. Like, you can find anything that calls to you, and you utilize that. So
Yeah, we traded, we shared.
yes. Yeah, so thank you everybody for participating in our training for wintertime, and we send you love, we send you blessings, and, you know, a great new year coming. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.